8 months pregnant, stepped inside, one hand on her belly, the other gripping the edge of the counter for balance. She breathed through a contraction, voice steady. "Excuse me, may I sit? I just need a chair." The receptionist didn't even look up. "We're full, sweetheart. Triage only." A nurse passing by muttered loud enough for the waiting room to hear. "She's being dramatic. They always are." Another chimed in, smirking. "Try breathing exercises, you'll live." Serena blinked, stunned. "I'm feeling lightheaded. Please. A seat." Security approached, unimpressed. "Ma'am, are you sure you're in the right place? OB is upstairs." "I can't climb stairs right now," she whispered. The receptionist finally glanced at her stomach, then rolled her eyes. "Well, you should have come earlier. You can wait, or sit on the floor if it's that urgent." A woman in the corner gasped. A teenager raised his phone, recording. No one intervened. No one offered their chair. No one called a doctor. Serena pressed a palm to her chest, swallowed the rising pain, and steadied herself. If they had known who she really was, they wouldn't have dared. Before the next hour was over, every person in that lobby would answer to her. This is Black Stories, where the pain of prejudice is told, and justice always finds its voice. If you believe dignity in pain deserves care, not suspicion, tap like and subscribe. Because in the next minutes, you'll watch a pregnant black woman denied a simple chair expose a hospital's quiet cruelty and turn 4 minutes of neglect into a reckoning that clears rooms, fires staff, and rewrites how black mothers are treated when it matters most. Serena Ellington Ward had not come to Ward Memorial Hospital to inspect it. She had come to see the truth. The truth her father warned her about for years. But before she was a future medical leader, before the board votes and the research papers and the ethics awards, she was a girl who watched her mother die at Maplewood County Hospital, a place that dismissed black women's pain until it was too late. She remembered every detail. Her mother clutching her side, whispering, "Something's wrong. Please help me." The nurse replying without even looking up, "You're overreacting." The doctor arriving hours too late. Serena was 12. When her mother's vitals crashed, no one rushed, no one listened, no one cared. And when the funeral ended, she returned to an apartment full of silence. Her social worker said, "There's someone I want you to meet." That someone was Dr. Lawrence Ward, Chief Medical Officer of Ward Memorial Hospital, widowed, brilliant, respected, and known for mentoring kids who showed promise in science. He didn't know Serena before that day. He had no obligation to step forward. But he saw the way she examined every medical monitor in the room. He saw the questions in her eyes no child should have to ask. "Do you want to understand why hospitals fail people?" he asked gently. Serena nodded. And so he taught her. First through tutoring, then through mentorship. Then, when the bond grew unbreakable, he adopted her, not out of charity, out of recognition. "You're extraordinary," he told her, "and this field needs extraordinary people." She grew into brilliance, a biomedical engineer, a medical ethicist, the creator of MomSense, the revolutionary maternal monitoring AI used nationwide. But her father never let her forget the human side of medicine. "Technology improves hospitals," he told her. "People reveal them." When he told her last month that he was retiring and wanted her to take his place as chief medical officer, she didn't answer immediately. She needed to see the hospital unfiltered, to understand how the people in this building treated vulnerable patients when no supervisor was watching. So today, Serena didn't walk in with a badge. She had a scheduled prenatal check. But she wanted to see how they handled her before anyone knew her name. No lab coat, no announcement, No surname Ward. Just Serena Ellington, a pregnant black woman in visible pain. Anonymous. Ordinary. Unprotected. Precisely how her father wanted the test to be. If bias exists, he had said, let it reveal itself to you honestly. And it did, in the receptionist's eye roll, in the nurse's mocking whisper, in security's dismissive question, "Are you sure you belong here?" Serena breathed through another contraction, steadying herself. They didn't recognize her, and they shouldn't have. She was not a public figure. She had never been introduced to the staff. Her father kept his private life private. And she never used the Ward surname in professional settings. To them, she was simply a tired, frightened, pregnant black woman. To the hospital board? She was the woman who would soon lead all of them, and to herself? She was a daughter determined not to let another woman die the way her mother did. Today wasn't an accident. Today was the moment the system showed its true face, and Serena Ellington Ward was finally ready to confront it. Serena Ellington Ward remained standing in the corner of the waiting room, one hand on her belly, the other bracing herself against the wall as another contraction rippled through her. No one offered her a chair. No one asked if she was okay. But that gave her something else. A vantage point. From where she stood, she saw everything. A young Latina mother approached the counter, carrying a toddler burning with fever. "Please," the mother begged softly. "He's shaking. He won't stop crying." The receptionist didn't even hide her annoyance. "Insurance card?" I don't have it on me. My husband is—" The receptionist sighed loudly, spinning her chair away as if the mother were an insect. "Next." Serena's jaw tightened. A few minutes later, a white couple walked in. The man said, "My wife isn't feeling great." Before the sentence finished, 3 staff members rushed toward them. "Oh no, sweetheart, come sit. Let's get you checked in." Serena watched the Latina mother rock her screaming child alone. Then another scene unfolded. A black father in a reflective work vest stepped up to the security guard. "Excuse me, my wife is in labor upstairs. They said—" The guard cut him off sharply. "Sir, I need you to calm down." "But I'm calm. I'm just asking—" "You're raising your voice." He wasn't. Serena heard every word. The guard leaned in, hand hovering near his belt. "You need to step back." The father stared, baffled. "Man, I just want to see my wife." "Step back." Serena scanned the room again. Bias wasn't hiding today. It was performing. 2 white teenagers strolled in laughing about a soccer injury. They were walked to seats immediately. Meanwhile, Serena, visibly pregnant, sweating, pale, remained standing while a nurse passed her and whispered loudly enough for 3 people to hear. "She probably just wants pain meds. Mark her as drug-seeking." The receptionist typed something into Serena's chart. A supervisor badge flashed as she leaned over the desk. Karen Mills, nurse supervisor, watching the note get entered like it was routine. Serena saw the screen. No medical background. Low priority. Possible drug seeker. Her stomach dropped, not from the contraction tightening her abdomen, but from the familiarity of this moment. This was the same language that killed her mother. Dismissive, lazy, dangerous. She forced a breath through her teeth. A resident walked by, flipping through a chart. "Hey," he called to the receptionist. "What's with the pregnant lady in the corner?" "Oh, her." The receptionist didn't look up. "She's fine. Dramatic type." "You didn't take vitals?" "She'll live." Serena's vision sharpened, narrowing on every detail, every microaggression, every neglected patient, Every small cruelty people justified because the victims were brown, black, poor, or simply unfavored. This wasn't chaos. This was culture. A culture she was about to inherit. A culture she was expected to lead. A culture she now saw with unfiltered eyes. Her father had told her, "A hospital isn't broken by one villain. It rots from 1,000 small choices." And now she was watching those choices unfold in real time. She rubbed her belly gently, whispering to her unborn child, "We're okay. We're okay." But inside, the anger coiled, not wild, not explosive, but controlled, sharpened, purposeful. Because none of them knew who she was. Not the receptionist, not the nurse, not the guard, not the giggling teens getting instant chairs while she nearly fainted standing. No one here knew that the woman they dismissed, minimized, ignored, and mocked was the incoming chief medical officer. The woman who would decide their policies, their training, their jobs. A contraction hit, stealing her breath. Serena steadied herself and exhaled. Not yet. She wasn't done watching. She wasn't done gathering truth. And she wasn't done letting this hospital reveal exactly who deserved to stay, and who would be gone before sunset. A contraction stabbed through Serena's abdomen so sharply her knees buckled. She grabbed the edge of the counter, knuckles whitening as she tried to steady her breath. The nurse behind the desk snapped without even looking up. "Back up! Don't make a scene!" Serena blinked, stunned. I'm not making a scene. I just need—" The receptionist cut her off with an eye roll so dramatic the people in the waiting room actually followed its arc. People like her always exaggerate. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was loud enough. Two teenagers snickered. A woman whispered behind her hand. The security guard shifted like he was already annoyed with Serena's existence. Serena swallowed, feeling another contraction build like a fist rising under her ribs. She fought to keep her voice steady. "Ma'am, you entered incorrect medical notes into my chart. I need them adjusted. I have a heart condition history." The nurse wheeled her chair around, a smirk pulling at the corner of her mouth. "Oh, look at her using big words. That's cute." Laughter bubbled from 2 seats away. Serena's breath caught, not from the pain, but the familiarity. Her mother had been spoken to like that the night she died. Someone in the back lifted a phone. Zoomed in. Recorded. The nurse noticed the camera and straightened her scrubs, suddenly performing. "Ma'am," she said loudly, "you need to stop crowding the counter. We are working. If you feel faint, sit on the floor. Triage will get to you when we can." Serena's voice trembled, not with fear, but with restraint. "I'm not crowding. I need help. Please!" The nurse leaned in close, lowering her voice to a venomous whisper Serena would remember forever. "You're not special. You wait like everyone else, unless you're lying to get attention." Serena's nostrils flared. Her belly tightened again. A ripple of heat shot down her spine as her body fought through another contraction. She inhaled sharply. Her adoptive father's voice echoed in her mind. Stillness, clarity, dignity, power isn't loud, it's controlled. She tightened her grip on the desk to keep from collapsing. Another nurse walked by, bumping Serena's shoulder hard enough to jolt her. No apology. Serena steadied herself. "Ma'am, please don't push me." The nurse shrugged. "Then don't stand where you're in the way." The receptionist chimed in, chuckling. "God, she's sensitive. It's just pregnancy. She'll survive." Serena's vision flickered around the room. The Latina mother, rocking her burning hot toddler. The black father still being watched by security like a threat. A white teen with a twisted ankle being offered a blanket and 2 seats. A contraction slammed into her again. She gasped. This time she couldn't hide it. Her knees buckled. She grabbed the counter to stay upright. And the nurse shoved her hand away. "Back up! I told you not to touch the workstation!" Serena stumbled backward, one hand to her stomach, the other clawing at the air for balance. Phones flew up. Gasps crackled through the room. Even the security guard blinked, startled. Serena steadied herself, breath shaking, eyes burning. Not from pain. From something far sharper. The line had been crossed. She stood tall, one hand on her belly, and lifted her chin ever so slightly. Her father had told her, "There is a moment, Serena, when silence is no longer dignity. It becomes consent." This was that moment. And though no one in the room knew it yet, they had just shoved, mocked, and denied a seat to the woman who would soon decide their future. Dr. Lawrence Ward stepped off the elevator with a clipboard in hand, ready to complete his final walkthrough before officially retiring. He smiled at passing nurses, adjusted his glasses, and practiced the speech he planned to give at tomorrow's administrative meeting. He had no idea his entire hospital was about to be exposed to him in one shattering instant. As he approached the waiting room, he froze. Serena. His daughter, 8 months pregnant, was hunched against the wall, gripping her stomach, sweat beading along her hairline. No chair beneath her, no nurse beside her, no triage tag on her wrist. Just pain and neglect. His chest tightened. "Serena?" he said softly. She blinked in surprise. "Dad?" Everything in him went cold. He looked around. No one was helping her. No one was moving. Some were even staring at him, confused by his concern. A nurse stepped forward with fake cheer. "Sir, this patient is—" Dr. Ward's voice cut the air like a scalpel. "This patient is my daughter." Silence detonated through the waiting room. "And for the record," Dr. Ward said, voice turning deadly calm, "the board vote naming her my successor was finalized last week. She has full executive authority the moment she signs." The receptionist's jaw dropped. A tech's pen slipped from her hand. Security stiffened. Someone whispered, "Her?" Another whispered back, "Wait, Dr. Ward's daughter?" He stepped to Serena carefully, hands hovering protectively near her shoulders. "Why are you standing?" he asked, voice shaking. "Why do you look like this? Who triaged you?" Serena tried to speak, but a contraction ripped through her. She sucked in a breath, gripping his forearm. A nurse finally stammered, We placed her as low priority, sir. She wasn't cooperative. She was—" "Low priority?" he repeated, each syllable sharp. "She's 8 months pregnant." "Well, she didn't tell us she had any medical background." Dr. Ward spun toward the nurse, voice thunderous. "She created the maternal monitoring system you use every day." Gasps echoed. A man near the door whispered. "What?" A teenage girl murmured. "She's someone important?" But Dr. Ward wasn't finished. He grabbed the tablet from the receptionist and scrolled, his face collapsing as he read. "Drug seeker? No medical background? Dramatic type?" His voice cracked with disbelief. "You falsified her intake notes?" The nurse paled. "Sir, we didn't know she was—" "You didn't know she was my daughter," he snapped. "But you did know she was a pregnant woman in pain." He looked at Serena, eyes glossing with shame. "You were here for 4 minutes, and not one of them offered you a seat?" Serena whispered. "Dad? I'm okay." "No," he said quietly, fury trembling under the surface. "You're not. And neither is this hospital." He faced the staff. All department heads, report to the lobby immediately, he ordered to his radio. This is an emergency review, effective now. The room held its breath. He turned back to Serena with a softness that made the contrast even more brutal. You deserved care. You deserved respect. He swallowed hard. And they gave you cruelty. The receptionist whispered, desperate, Dr. Ward, please, we didn't know who she was. He looked at her like the words sickened him. You shouldn't have to know who she is to do your job. Phones recorded. Whispers swelled. The staff shifted like a tidal wave had slammed into the hospital's core. And the clock ticked. Only 4 minutes since she'd walked into the lobby. The administrative conference room felt colder than the lobby. Sterile, humming with fluorescent lights, filled with department heads who rushed in with irritation on their faces. Until they saw Serena. Serena Ellington Ward sat at the end of the long table, still breathing through contractions, a blood pressure cuff on her arm. Dr. Lawrence Ward stood beside her, jaw clenched, betrayal and fury simmering behind his eyes. Let's begin, he said, voice low but edged with steel. A tech activated the screen. The first surveillance clip appeared. Clip 1. The reception desk. The receptionist rolled her eyes at Serena. Sit on the floor if it's that urgent. Laughter from a nearby nurse. Gasps erupted in the room. The head of nursing whispered, horrified. She said that to a pregnant woman? Clip 2 loaded. Clip 2. The nurse's station. The same nurse typed into Serena's file. She's exaggerating. Possible drug seeking. No medical training. Another nurse snickered. Look at her trying to use smart words. Cute. A cardiologist slammed his folder shut. Those terms she used, Serena Ward created them. They're in our system because of her. Clip 3. Clip 3. Security footage. A guard pointed at Serena. One of those again? They always come in making drama. The DEI director covered her mouth. Oh my God. Clip 4. Clip 4. The hallway cam. Serena leaned against the wall, breath shaky. A staff member walked past and muttered, if she wanted real care, she'd clean herself up. Clip 5. Clip 5. The triage room. The nurse huffed as she typed, low priority. A resident asked, why low priority? Her blood pressure's spiking and she's having contractions. She looks fine, the nurse said. I know their type. Their type. The room went silent, heavy, choking. Every department head stared at the screen as the truth unfolded, piece by piece, bias by bias, cruelty by cruelty. Finally, Dr. Ward turned to Serena. Would you like to speak? Serena inhaled deeply, slow, steady, controlled. Even now, dignity anchored her. She stood. Her voice didn't shake. I came today as a patient, she began softly. I did not come as your future chief medical officer. I did not come as a biomedical ethicist. I did not come as the designer of your maternal monitoring system. She scanned the room, one face at a time. No rush, no fear. I came here as a black woman in labor. Several heads lowered. And you treated me, she continued, as a stereotype, a problem, a nuisance, an inconvenience. She placed a hand on her belly, grounding herself. My mother died in a waiting room just like this one. Ignored, labeled dramatic, dismissed until it was too late. A doctor in the back wiped his eyes. Serena's gaze sharpened. This is not about me. This is about every patient who walked through these doors and faced what I faced today, without a father who could pull the recordings. The chief of pediatrics whispered, She's right. Dr. Ward placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Serena, the decision is yours. Every staff member stiffened. Jobs, licenses, careers, all hanging by her next breath. Serena nodded once. Calm, decisive, devastating. She had seen the system unmasked. Now she was ready to act. The conference room doors burst open so hard they rattled the glass. Internal Affairs marched in first. Navy windbreakers, clipped badges, unreadable expressions. Behind them came the Civil Rights Medical Oversight Unit, the same federal auditors who investigate maternal mortality disparities nationwide. A quiet terror fell over the hospital leadership. The lead auditor, a sharp-eyed black woman named Dr. Adrienne Cole, scanned the room and spoke calmly. We received a real-time escalation regarding discriminatory patient care at Ward Memorial. All personnel in this room will remain until initial review is complete. As part of a broader maternal outcomes review already opened last month, this incident triggered an automatic on-site response. Nurses exchanged panicked glances. The receptionist who mocked Serena began shaking. Dr. Ward folded his arms, jaw tight. He wasn't protecting anyone. Not today. The auditor nodded to the tech. Pull every complaint filed over the last 3 years. Unseal all suppressed reports. A series of PDFs flashed onto the screen, one after another, a machine gun cadence of institutional failure. Complaint number 147. Nurse ignored my pain. Said black women don't feel contractions as strongly. Complaint number 219. Security followed me through the ER, despite me being the patient. Complaint number 301. Receptionist refused to check my vitals and said, "You people are loud." Complaint number 342. Triage changed my file from high priority to low with no explanation. A Hispanic nurse whispered, horrified. We didn't know these were filed." But the auditor corrected her gently. "No, you didn't know because someone buried them." She turned to the tech. "Open the metadata." A new line appeared on the screen. Last modified by Nurse Supervisor Karen Mills. A gasp tore through the room. Karen swallowed hard, voice trembling. I didn't bury anything." The auditor raised a hand. "We'll interview you separately." Then she turned back to the files. Complaint number 411. A pregnant woman begged for a seat. I watched staff laugh at her. Filed 12 minutes ago, the auditor added, with video attached. By the time the auditors walked in, the clip was already moving online under one caption. They told a pregnant woman to sit on the floor. Serena recognized the handwriting. A teenager from the waiting room must have filed it. Her throat tightened, but she stayed silent. The auditor faced the staff. This hospital has a documented pattern of racial bias, medical neglect, and systemic failures disproportionately harming patients of color, especially black mothers. Another auditor spoke up. Maternal outcomes for black women at this hospital are 40% worse than for white patients with the same symptoms. A dead hush followed. A nurse sobbed. A surgeon looked like he might vomit. Security Officer Ramirez clenched his fists, staring at the floor. Then came the final blow. Footage of Serena being denied care began playing again. This time beside the statistical data. Every cruelty, every dismissal, every stereotype. Dr. Ward did not look away. He needed to see what culture had grown under his leadership, even if he hadn't planted it. When the footage ended, the lead auditor spoke. Effective immediately, every staff member involved in this incident is terminated, and every supervisor who signed off on the culture that allowed it is placed on administrative leave pending license review. The nurse gasped. The receptionist collapsed into her chair. The security guard stammered. But I didn't know. Dr. Cole cut him off. You didn't know because you didn't care to know. Silence. Then all eyes turned to Serena. Standing, breathing steadily. 8 months pregnant. Still dignified. She looked at the staff, not with rage, not with pity, but with truth sharpened into clarity. This, she said softly, is the rot my mother didn't survive. A tear slipped down her cheek, not from pain, but purpose. Her voice strengthened. This ends today. The words hit like a seismic shift, the kind that cracks foundation walls. Internal Affairs nodded, and with that, Ward Memorial Hospital began cleaning itself, not because it wanted to, but because Serena Ellington Ward refused to let one more mother die the way hers did. The conference room felt different now. Not tense, not hostile, just waiting. Waiting for what comes after a system is forced to face its own reflection. Dr. Lawrence Ward sat at the head of the table, the retirement papers spread neatly in front of him. His hands trembled, not from age, but from the weight of the moment. He lifted his pen, looked at Serena, and exhaled. It's time, he whispered. Serena swallowed the lump in her throat. You don't have to rush this for me. He shook his head gently. No, I'm doing this because of you. His signature flowed across the page, elegant, firm, final. Just like that, the longest chapter of his professional life closed. He reached for the second folder, the one with Serena's name embossed in gold. Serena Ellington Ward, Chief Medical Officer, Ward Memorial Hospital. The youngest to ever hold the position, the first black woman. But above all, the most qualified candidate this hospital had ever seen. Dr. Ward passed her the pen. Go on, baby girl, he whispered. It's your turn. Serena's hand didn't shake at all. She signed her name with steady strokes, the same calm she'd shown while contractions hit, while bias bruised her dignity, while the hospital she was about to lead revealed every crack in its foundation. Silence isn't dignity anymore, Serena said. It's consent. And I don't consent. When she finished, Dr. Ward stood, pulled her into his arms, and held her tightly. His voice cracked against her ear. Your mother would be proud. So proud. Serena's breath hitched, a single tear slipping down her cheek. She's why I'm here, she whispered back. She's why this ends now. And then she turned to the room, to the staff who remained, to the board, to Internal Affairs. A different energy radiated from her now. Not just authority, but purpose sharpened into leadership. Her first order was swift. Effective immediately, the intake team involved in today's incident is terminated. No one argued. And every staff member on duty who participated, or watched, was pulled from patient contact pending review. No exceptions. Her next directive. We launch a maternal justice initiative today. Our goal, eliminate racial disparities in maternal outcomes entirely. Auditors nodded, impressed. Next. All staff will undergo comprehensive anti-bias and cultural competency training. Mandatory, certified, no exceptions. Surgeons exchanged uneasy glances, but no one dared push back. And we are creating a patient equity oversight committee, Serena continued, independent of hospital administration. Their job will be to review every complaint, every case, every disparity. Nothing will be buried again. Her words echoed across the room, transforming tension into resolve. Someone whispered, "This hospital is about to change." Someone else murmured. Finally. Dr. Ward placed a hand on her shoulder, proud, emotional, relieved. "You're the leader I always hoped would walk through these halls," he said softly. "But I never imagined it would be my own daughter." Serena smiled faintly. "I didn't come here expecting to lead today." He chuckled. "But you did." She nodded, hand returning to her belly. "And this time," she said quietly, "no mother walks in here unseen." The next morning, Ward Memorial Hospital didn't feel like the same building. Lights seemed brighter, footsteps quieter, people aware. Serena Ellington Ward walked through the main corridor, not clutching her belly in pain, not ignored, not humiliated, but leading with purpose and steady breath. Her new badge caught the light. Doctors straightened their coats when she passed. Nurses paused mid-shift to nod respectfully. Patients watched her with a mix of awe and relief, whispering, "That's her. That's the one who changed everything." Beside her, Dr. Lawrence Ward pushed his chair along proudly, matching her pace even as emotion softened his usually firm jaw. Serena placed a hand over her belly and exhaled. Her mother would have loved this moment. Because sometimes, the person they try to silence is the one sent to fix the entire system. Serena walked past the waiting area, the same place where she had been denied a seat, and gently rested her hand on the back of the chair that now sat empty. Because sometimes, the seat they refuse to give you becomes the chair you ultimately take. She turned, her expression calm, strong, unshakable. This is Black Stories, where dignity rises, injustice falls, and power returns to the people meant to carry it. If you believe in justice, dignity, and change, like this video, share it and subscribe.